Okay, here we go. So, so for example, fluorescence scanning, we talked about that, and Jesper, you actually had a nice idea about how you do DAPI, and you also, so you apparently have immunofluorescence scanning now that you're using clinically.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that would be great. And then
But also from 3D Histech, Jesper, or a different one?
Yeah, it's a 3D Histech. Yeah. So we do it
Yeah,
for
we
all our
also
clinical slides. We do a counter stain with DAPI to get the level right, and then we scan it. So you also have the right level when the immune fluorescence is negative. So that's nice.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's good.
and
You want to see some slides for the IF, Maaike?
Well, we have the same.
Oh, you do the
So
same
we
now?
have
Good, good, cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
We have the same scanner.
Holland-wide expertise that nobody else has. Only in Holland.
I'm not sure if it's being done routinely already, but I can imagine. I would guess so, because Erik Steenberg is the kidney pathologist here in our department, and he used to work indeed with snapshots that a technician would look at the slide under a fluorescent microscope and take snapshots. So I would assume that now they switch to just looking at the whole slide image.
Yeah, cool.
And yeah, that's, I mean, you and Jesper also had a great idea last week, and we've talked about this some, but thinking about where other Banff working groups are, and maybe how we can interface with them in the future. And maybe if someone sees this video, they'll pass the word on. And I'm going to try to reach out to some of these people too. And Lynn is actually a part of our group. She's also in the sensitized group. But, some of these groups, for example, I was looking at the T-cell media rejection group. They have, at the time of the Banff paper, which was a year ago, they had 154 patients. The sensitized group, they're working on molecular diagnostics. There's the HIV group. There's the EM group, which I know they have digital images. So that's something we want to work. I'm part of the TMA group. I'm a member of that. We have recurrent glomerular disease, surrogate endpoints, the Banff rules and dissemination. We're digital pathology, but you were mentioning that peritubular capillaritis, that group has a nice sort of digital component to it. So, we could learn from them. We're actually behind some of the things that some of the other groups are doing. So we need to think about ways to learn from them and interface with the other groups too. So, so that's definitely something to think about in the future, is how we can, interface with those groups and maybe, learn from them, and also maybe exchange cases. And when we have good ways, and when we have a competition, for example, which algorithm is going to predict peritubular capillary inflammation better than another algorithm. And like I say, it's not going to be a winner per se, but some may be better at some aspects than others. And I think as these groups define better, because when you get down to it, some of these things, the definitions need to be refined. So as some other groups, come up with, better ways of doing things, then obviously, we can basically think about, how to refine the algorithms more. But, so
we had a meeting with the PTC group last week, Jesper, I think.
Yeah, last week.
Yeah.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, that was a very constructive meeting, I think.
Excellent.
And we agreed to join forces towards the segmentation of peritubular capillaries, and hopefully also towards peritubular capillaritis. Yeah.
Excellent. Yeah.
Great.
It would be interesting in general, I think, because there are already, there are many Banff papers published, and they describe data sets that are very valuable. It would be already interesting to have those data sets digitized and as one collection. You can always go back to slides, and So it might be something more general, because they're collecting in every work group, like you said, Brett. They collect slides. Yeah, why not digitize them and make them at least have the collection, and then you can think of making it public or reuse them for other purposes instead of maybe collecting them every time again in different settings. So yeah, that might be very valuable in general.
Yeah,
I think that's also a good task for the digital pathology working group
Yeah,
to
I think that,
facilitate something like that.
Yeah,
to-
it's
to
right in
make
our
sure-
mainstream.
yeah.
Yep.
yeah. So definitely, I think we could think of ways to do that better. And, I think it could be a huge resource. I think, for example, I know that I'm part of the TMA working group, and, they're working on their first paper now, but I think, once the first paper gets published, and even when I know some journals now are asking, hey, could you share the data with this, so alongside it, what would be cool is if alongside the paper, if you had the link to the,
Actual
science.
image bank.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it makes
yeah.
it more open source, and that would be awesome. So I just left this slide on in case someone sees the YouTube and wants to email either of us, and or but basically that was basically what I had to say today. And so with the, and Jesper had mentioned that last week about other working groups, so I think that would be a huge thing. So
yeah, I think if you think about the other meetings that we've had for the general public kind of audience, there are moments where they'd find it quite boring, right? Because it's something highly specific and a deep dive into something, right? And today we've skated on the surface of stuff. So we've remained in an area that the average viewer would find it interesting. And we ourselves, looks like we had a good night's sleep, and we're our lives are in balance. I'm sure that's not really true, but that's how we look. So anyway, yeah, like
for you, Grant. So life is not in balance.
yeah, and I mean our COVID numbers are the highest in Canada, and we're stopping in-person teaching today and stuff. Yeah.
oh,
So,
really?
yeah, it isn't permanent, because next week we'll have vaccine passports, and then if you can prove that you've been vaccinated, you can do face-to-face stuff. But yeah, it's a scary dynamic thing. So our happy faces hide the fact that there is some scary background stuff going on. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Well, that's too bad. I mean, but the US, we've had a lot of that too, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we're 10 days away from our province-wide ICUs being completely filled, and that's not just the regular capacity, but surge capacity. So we'll exceed surge capacity in 10 days' time. Yeah. So if you have anything else wrong with you, if you have COVID, we could probably look after you. But if there's anything else wrong, you're kind of out of luck potentially. Yeah. Canceled most surgeries, and yeah, it's really, really dramatic.
Wow.
Is the vaccination, the people that are getting vaccinated, the percentage, is that low in
Yes,
Canada?
yes, it is. It is lower than it should be, and we have a strong contingent of kind of people who think it's a human rights issue. You shouldn't be forced to be vaccinated, but the evidence for it as a serious human rights issue is getting weaker and weaker day by day. Yeah, virtually everybody dying are in the unvaccinated category and the seriously ill. Yeah.
Oh, that's too bad. Yeah. Well, well, on that note, we really look forward to your talk in 2 weeks, Mikey.
Yep.
And your group's participation in this working group is really appreciated. You know, is anyone else have any other comments? I think that was about all I had to say today. Any other?
No, I think it's a very good meeting, and we occasionally need sort of general meetings like this where there's nobody presenting their own data, but we're just talking about stuff in general. So
Yeah,
it's equally valuable. Yeah. So
great.
thanks to all of you for attending. Yeah.
You're
Yeah,
welcome.
thank you all
Has
so
this,
much.
meeting, has it always been a weekly event?
It's every 2 weeks.
Every 2 weeks.
Every 2 weeks.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
it is. Yeah. Okay. All right.
We started in the spring, I think. Yeah, didn't we?
Yeah.
It was, basically, and it's been going well.
Yeah, they're really interesting sessions, but a lot of them are at the cutting edge. So people who know nothing about digital pathology and then wander in might be a little bit lost because we're so deeply into things. And when you get talking about novel microscopy, it's not just a little novel, it's really novel. Yeah. So things that they've never talked about, never thought about were brought up. Yeah.
Mhm. So I guess the audience that we should target for in 2 weeks, I guess we can expect then all kinds of like people who are just interested in AI, people who have been working with it. So keep it quite
thus far,
general,
the
I guess.
audience hasn't been huge, though. I mean, we whatever Brad's capability number-wise, we've never gotten even close to that, right? So if his Zoom license is 100 people, we probably haven't ever had more than what, 20 something?
I think the 20 was about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
20 was
Yeah.
about it. Nice.
Yeah. So it's a privilege to be here. It's a selected group, however you want to look at it.
Yeah.
Right.
And yeah, if you
we'll
want to,
see who turns up.
yeah,
Maybe
Otherwise, otherwise, yes, best to hear the same story. Well,
I like
you've heard it before, I guess.
yeah, but you know, one other way to look at the YouTube video, let's use that to try to get more people here for that talk in 2 weeks' time. People who would find it interesting. Yeah.
And you guys have a website, right? Or not? Do you have a digital pathology working group website?
No, not that we're aware of.
Okay.
So
but something like that could be nice, like where you announce speakers and then place links.
Yeah, at the start of the meeting, I talked about some interesting history of Banff, exactly in that area. So this young lady, she was in charge of sort of all the practical side of things I was doing in the 1990s. And the university had a venture mentoring program. Probably your university has that. They always target young people. Well, I was in my 50s then, so I was too old and tired for them. So they venture mentored her. And we were a part of the National Kidney Foundation in the US. And they told her, you should carve out independence, create your own website. You're doing really interesting stuff. It's getting hidden within the depths of the NKF website. Nobody goes to your page. So that's exactly what she did. She didn't consult me or anything. She got the web, developer, completed the website and then told me about it. And I thought it was great. And so that was really a very dramatic change. And it was all, initiated by her mentor in the venture mentoring program at the university here. And I was showing Brad this, that she also had, we talked about this metaphor a lot of what the influence of these younger people on my activities was. And this is the mid-course correction. of the plane heading down to crash, and then the young people bringing us back up to the proper trajectory. In retrospect, some of the things that they corrected, like I was overpaying the band for the Banff meeting, they thought. But now, you know, it looks like people have been underpaying musicians forever. So really, it looks like I was the only person properly paying, you know, musicians back in the 90s when the Banff meeting started. Anyway, that's some interesting history. So that was an instance where creating a new website sort of changed everything. So Brad, we can try that again.
Yeah, I mean, I have thought about a web page. That's a good idea. You know, not sure exactly how would be best to host that.
Well, I mean, we can host it. I mean, yeah, I think what we need from you is the intellectual content, Brad. It isn't that we need to find, oh, well, where are we going to host the website? Yeah, we can solve that. But if you could come up with an idea of what that website should contain, what it should look like, yeah, that would be good.
Okay, yeah, and we could even, I mean, I have the files, the sort of the movie files of the old meetings, so the Zoom MP4s. So, you know, if we have any of those others.
Yeah, no, I think that would be great, because that's really a secret because it's so difficult to access the video files in the usual fashion.
Yeah, I was putting them just,
you know, Emory security is like impenetrable.
Yeah, I had them just on Slack, but I was running in, I realized we were going to hit I have a quota on that, but on my Emory file space, I don't really have much of they at least haven't told me I have one. So that's why I put it there. And some people, but they have, sorry, you have to jump through so many hoops to get to them.
And they're suspicious of any human who's not from Emory. That makes you immediately suspicious if you know, you don't live in the right city, and all those metrics.
Definitely.
Okay, well, this has been a great session. Thank you very, very much. And we look forward to the one in 2 weeks' time. And let's see if we can use the YouTube video from this session to drive a bigger audience for 2 weeks from now, eh? Yeah.
Sounds great. Yeah. Well, thank you all so much. Yeah.
Great.
Really
Thank
appreciate
you.
it. Yeah. Take care.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.